I don't know who they were talking about. I didn't see most of that video until tonight. I cannot explain how indebted I am to the University of Pacific, the teaching that I got here, and all in my academic career, I tried to model myself after Malcolm Mole, as many of you would understand, Paul Winters, Edmund Ding, and the gentleman that I was a grader for, Dr. Peckham. And I think it worked pretty successfully, so I was pretty good at copying. I remember the years as if it was yesterday of what I did here, the good things and the bad things. But I also remember trying to challenge the academic world with American Indian knowledge. And it is very difficult when you are viewed as a savage and haven't yet risen to civilization. And I was able to do it with people that are here tonight, not only remembering my professors, but many of my friends. And as a high school dropout, by the time I got to Pacific, I was really a raw person. I didn't know much of anything. And one of the gentlemen that is here tonight that has been my friend for 60 years, Mr. Elmer Belmont, sort of got me to begin to ask questions while I was at Fresno City College, and to have some of this stuff that you call critical thinking and curiosity. And that's been with me for most of my life as a post-20-year-old. And when I was going through difficult times, I would always be with Jane Decker and her family, because the one thing when you're trying to introduce new knowledge or new understandings or new configurations is you have to have a sanctuary. And she was my sanctuary, along with a friend of mine, a lifelong friend of mine from Napa, California, or Yountville, California, Angel Robles. And his daughter is here tonight. And they are like family to me. And Steve, I just can't say enough, and I must say, to introduce some levity, that Steve and Linda Collins are enjoying their wedding anniversary this evening, attending a Pacific function. They were married right down the block here, and I'm very glad that you could come. The strange thing is how I ended up here. I wanted to go to Fresno State College. I wasn't good enough for Pacific. I had to go to a state college and compete there. And while I was attending a debate at Fresno State, I went in to view a Pacific team, Lynn Engdahl and Harry Sharp. And I listened to that debate and I said, you know, I would really like to speak like Harry Sharp. And I wanted to emulate him. And I never made it to that peak performance, but I made it to Pacific. And I have to thank him for convincing me that this was the school to go to. My son has saved my life twice. I was the chairman of the American Indian Movement in Minneapolis when he was 2 years old, and he wouldn't leave. I separated from his mother, and he came to visit me, and he wouldn't leave. His grandparents came to pick him up, and he said, I'm staying here with Dad. And I've always thought of that moment, because at that time in my life, the white separatists in northern Minnesota had me on a hit list. They had 10 of the AIM people on the hit list, and I dropped out of the movement because I had to take care of my son. I wanted to be a good father. And then that's why I'm here tonight. And then he saved me again when I was in my late 70s by getting me to a hospital. So anyways, thank you very much, son. And I have some extended family here, my nephew, former in-laws, and niece, and they've made it from Sacramento, and I really appreciate them being here. And I'm very proud of Greg and his wife, or I mean Richard and his wife, because their daughter has reintroduced me to the world, because she went to college in New York on a first T scholarship. And for a while she was doing advertising on the Golf Channel, and I kept getting calls from friends of mine saying, "Are you related to her? She's a red horse. Are you related to her?" And I said, "Oh yeah, that's my niece," and it was really great. But I don't know, I never thought that it would come to this evening. I've enjoyed it. I love Pacific. Tried to get 2 of my nieces to go here, and they won't go here. They had to go to Stanford. I said, who wants to go to Stanford, for heaven's sakes? And I envy the Lowe family, because they really stuck by Pacific. But thank you all. I've enjoyed it, and I hope to come back. Thank you.